Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nordmark, the first ever session, in fact, the 0th session of a new series. And yeah, it's us. There's quite a lot of us here. As you can see down in the bottom left, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people here alone, plus me as a DM, 10 people. I'm a person, I count. 10 people here alone, and there are actually even more people in the group, right? So this is a West Marches campaign, and the thing about West Marches is it's big, it's explory, it's traversally, it's all about going out and grabbing something and coming home and telling everyone about it, right? So these people won't all be on screen at the same time every time. They'll usually split up into groups of 4 each time and just go out and get something cool, have a cool experience, and come back. And yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really hyped for it. But today we're doing the most important thing. Today is session 0. Today is all about it's all about sorting out boundaries. It's all about sorting out what this game is. It's all about sorting out character creation. It's all about answering all of the questions, sorting out homebrews and all that. All right. And normally people don't stream this, right? They don't stream it because it's not entertainment, okay? But there are loads of people, fucking loads of people, right, who want to do D&D. They want to become DMs. They want to run games for people. They have no session 0s to watch. So let's fucking fix that, all right? This is going to be an example of a session 0. It's going to be a bad example. You'll probably do it better, but it will be one of the best examples out there because no one else fucking videos it, okay? So I'm going to unmute now and we'll say hello to everyone who's joining us. It's going to probably be quite cacophonous. That's a word to say. But, you know, should be all right. I'm actually going to turn the audio up a little bit now because I fixed my microphone from last session. There we go. That should be okay. Last session, my microphone was a bit whoops. Basically Windows updated, and for some reason it decided my microphone should be at 50% volume. So whoops. But yeah, let's unmute everyone.
Other than a tiefling.
Hi everyone.
Happy birthday, Meg.
Happy birthday.
God damn it.
Oh, he's
Testing, is this thing on?
Yep, it's on. We're all here. All right, so I'm going to go from furthest left to furthest right and introduce you all. So first of all, on the furthest left, I'm trying to put my arm under it, but my camera doesn't go that far. Andy, say hi.
Oh, on Discord, I'm not the furthest left.
That's
hi.
what I said. Say hi, not oh. Talia, say hi.
Hello.
There we go. Pixel, say hi.
Greetings and obeisances.
You can tell who's here to make my life miserable. Andres, say hi.
Hi.
Good. Bree, say hi.
Oh, I'll be using the villain voice for this entire stream.
Fuck. Aeon, say hi.
Hello.
Thank you. Excellent. That was good. I like that. Ben, say hi. Ben's muted.
Hey.
There we go. Excellent. Emphas, say hi.
Salutations, homies.
Nolus, say hi.
I'm muted because I'm having lunch, but hi.
And lastly, and not leastly, say hi, Goggles.
Hi, Goggles.
God damn it.
In fairness, Goggles is the only one you set up with that particular order.
Well, I had to. That's how it goes with Dartown.
You point me out as the troublemaker when I have always said greetings and obeisances.
I know. I'm just teasing. Right. So, we're all here to play some Dungeons and Dragons, so let's all roll initiative. No, let's all upset you with the various parts that are going to disappoint you.
I got a 7.
You got a 7. Well, you're dead. I'm afraid rocks have fallen. Right. So I've got a fair few things to go over. So I'm going to do most of the talking, but I'll stop at bits. And you just, if you got a question, just say. I will say we are currently obviously broadcasting things. We will go over at one point topics that we're not comfortable about. All right. If you don't want to say that there is a topic you don't want to include, For whatever reason, don't say it now, just DM me and then I'll add it to the document, okay? So if there's something that's, very particularly personal to you, don't feel like you have to mention it on stream. So, first of all, let's do how we play, right? And the really critical bits, okay? I'm going to start with what I expect from you lot, okay? I'm going to start with a proviso that I'm going to demand a lot from you, but it's a demand that you do it only if you can, okay? It's still a game, right? Critical, above all of this, is you have fun, right? So, if I say, stay focused all the time, but you have problems staying focused with things, don't take that as me saying you can't play with me. What I mean is, do your best to stay focused where you can, So, and that'll apply with pretty much anything that I talk about today. If I ask something of you, it's only if you are able to do that, reasonably, without just causing undue stress and not being able to enjoy yourself. So with that, I would like it if where you can, stay focused, right? And that's not going to apply to everyone, as I've said, but if you can. So I'm getting he says getting distracted by a hair in his microphone. If you can, try not to go on other websites and all that while you're doing it, because what you tend to do is you tend to just forget what's been said, and I'll have to repeat myself and all that, and it just slows everything down. Most of what I'm going to say today is about keeping things fast, because D&D is slow already, right? It's a slow game. We don't need to slow it down more. So yeah, try and stay focused. Try to keep everyone on the same page so that I don't have to keep going and redescribing areas, and we don't have to keep having arguments about what is there and what isn't, right? The next bit is, if you want to do something, don't just do it. So if you go, oh, I don't believe them, and start rolling dice immediately, don't do that. Tell me that you don't believe them, right? And ask me if you can do something. So, for example, go, is there any way I can tell if they're lying to me or something like that? And I'll go, yeah, roll an insight check. Don't just roll the insight check straight away, is the difference there. Because sometimes you don't even need to make a roll. If someone's made a bald-faced lie, right? And you're like, is there anything I can do to tell they're lying? I'll just go, they're lying, because most of the time you'd be able to tell. The exception to this is if you have some feature that tells you specifically to roll, if you're attacking someone or something like that as part of the rules, just follow the rules on there. That's all fine. It's when we get to the sort of softer stuff social interactions, exploration, that sort of thing. So those are the first two things, right? How to do something. It's the critical bit, right? Everything after this is pretty much fucking optional. How are we feeling so far?
Great. Yes. Good.
Nerd.
With my
Now.
nerd endings.
That's
Okay,
good.
so-
No questions so far. That's good. Okay. I'm also keeping an eye on the chat in case anyone's posting in there specifically about questions. That's no problem. I think we're all good so far. All right, on to things that just improve the game in general. Try and be descriptive about your attacks and your magic and all that. You don't have to. But, instead of just saying, I'm going to use my attack action or I'm going to attack with my sword, I'm going to try and run them through with my rapier or something like that. I know rapier's technically a slashing sword, but in fucking D&D it's a piercing weapon, alright? So you're going to try and run them through with your rapier, or you're going to try and hack at their neck with your axe or anything like that. Because that'll give me a bit of ammo to use to describe how it works. Because if you miss, I go, but they've just deflected it with a pauldron, or, they just raised their shield and dived to the side, and, stuff like that. And it just makes it a little bit more, I guess, epic for you, And the same with spells. I'll often ask, the first time you cast a spell, I'll often ask what that spell looks like for you. I'm a big fan of customizing spells. If you can't think of anything, don't worry. Just say, I can't think of anything, or pass, or whatever. But, if you cast, say, Guiding Bolt I might go, what does Guiding Bolt look like for you? And for you, maybe you have the god of luck. Maybe Guiding Bolt is you throw some dice on the ground and they all roll 20s, and those fly off into the air and smash into someone, you know? It doesn't have to be the description that's in the book. If you play an artificer, I'll want you to be customizing your magic even more. There's actually a whole section in Tasha's Cauldron about artificers and how to customize the magic to make it more technological. But again, you don't have to.
Evidenced by everything Gargoyle does being asked for a follow-up description by Nick.
Every time. They're great descriptions as well. I love particularly the dial that Gargoyle has on his suit that is visible or invisible. There's two options. For some reason, it's a dial. I love it. Anyway, so yeah, just, be descriptive. And I think that's really the major stuff when it comes to what I need from you when you're playing. The rest will go into sort of how Westmarches works specifically, because it is a bit different, and I'll go through that as well. But that's really what I need from players. And by need, again, I must stress, don't make the game unfun for you because you're worried about it, So following on from there, though, we're going to go to the somewhat darker side of D&D. Let's talk about player discomfort. So we're going to talk about in a second. I'm get to that next. Various hard lines that we don't want to cross. Right? I've got several I've already written down that I will not cross. And if I'm playing in a game, I will expect DMs not to cross as well. And you'll have hard lines as well, whether you've thought about it specifically or not. And again, you don't have to bring them up here. If you feel comfortable bringing them up, feel free to. But if you don't feel comfortable bringing them up, don't force yourself to say them here. But regardless of that, something may still come up that we've not thought of ahead of time, right? Like anything can happen in a game. It's all too possible that one of us just hasn't thought of a hard line that we've got until it happens. If that happens, just stop everything for a second and just say, look, time out. We need to discuss this. If we're on stream, I'll put it on a break and we'll turn the microphones off specifically and we'll have a chat about it, or we can do it privately in a DMs if you don't even want to discuss it with the other players. And we'll work out how to fix the situation. But rest assured, if it's making you uncomfortable, we will stop it, right? That's critical. Just say it immediately. Don't hesitate, right? Talia, hold that thought for a second till we get to the line, because I've got a document here and I'll just start adding them to the document. Hold that thought, because otherwise I will forget. But yes, thank you. Thank you, Talia. On a similar side of that is player agency. There are situations in D&D where you will lose agency over your character. The most notable is petrification. But there's also certain charm effects, mind domination effects. There are also lycanthropy. That's one as well. In those cases, consider your character dead if it's permanent. Some of them aren't. Dominate monster, that doesn't last forever. But if it's like you've been petrified and no one has a cure for petrification, assume your character is dead. Now, what we can do is we can say this is where the petrified statue of character X is. This is Westmarches. You can go back with a new character and a cure for petrification and sort it out later on. Same with corpses in some way. If you bring bodies back, you could revive them later on when you get the materials for it. And Westmarch is all about having multiple characters. Well, it allows multiple characters anyway, so you can do that. But do know that it is possible. But it is fairly rare. I think in the entire 2 years of the Guild of Icons, it's happened 0 times. It almost happened once. I think that's it. But yeah, that's it's unlikely, but just consider it as if your character has died. On the side of death will probably happen. This game is designed around, it's not going to be purposefully difficult, but it's designed around you being able to choose your difficulty. So the further you go from the hometown, the more difficult it gets, just like, in a RPG or whatever. So if you choose somewhere that's harder than you expect, or harder than you're prepared for, or you just have unfortunate dice rolls, like goblins can kill level 1 characters so easily, your character might well die. I'm afraid you're just going to have to make a new one. There will be death in the game. It is just something that happens. But, it just gives you a chance to do a new idea, honestly. I think most players tend to have a problem of having too many characters or ideas, not enough. I'll stop there on that bit, because I think that's the heavy bits, and then we'll get onto the hard lines. But is there anything there that anyone has any questions with, or anything they need to talk about there before we get onto the hard lines themselves?
Actually, I've got a question about lycanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be obviously some of the werebeasts in D&D have sort of alignments that are similar to that might be the same as player characters. Is this going to be a situation where even if it's someone's got lycanthropy and it's a creature with the same sort of alignment, it's still going to change their behaviour?
I think in those cases you're probably okay. I'm thinking usually for curses that would make you evil, which is usually the problem, like Werewolf's Curse and all that. For something like a werebear, where your alignment is good, or were ravens, I believe, are neutral, you're probably going to be fine. Because you can just still be your character. I think the understanding is when werebears turn into bears, they still have full control of themselves. Where it's when a werewolf turns into a werewolf, they don't. It's sort of the difference.
Yeah.
So
speaking.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of lycanthropy, if that ever comes up, I'm assuming we're going to try to not do it's these sometimes ridiculous stat changes, or what would be a ridiculous stat change for a level 1 character in some areas. I think werewolves get buffed up strength. That is beyond.
All right, if someone becomes like a werebear and they get a massive buff, everyone would just want to become werebears, right? I think that's a reasonable thing. It's something I'll have to think about, because there are downsides to being a werebear.
I'll put it out. I don't think that it's going to happen that any of the characters will contract lycanthropy before we get to the next notch of the campaign, but just in case. Yeah,
true. It's worth thinking about, and I'll have a proper think about that and let you all know as well. I don't think it's going to happen in the first 3 or so levels. I don't know, maybe not, but I don't think so. But on the other hand, it might not be too bad, to be honest. With a good roll, you could have one stat at 18 already. That's perfectly possible with 46 drop lowest, which is what we'll be doing. So the 20's not that far off the table, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. I'll have a think about it. I'll have a look through at all the various were creatures, what they get. I'll have a look at a bit of the lore behind them as well. If there's enough of a downside to being a werebear, I think it'd be fine for you to get something with a cost in return. But I'll just have to see what's involved, really. I imagine it's not going to be mechanical downside. It'll probably be something, lore related, and I'll see what I can come up with.
Or your clothes rip and fall off.
All the time. You can't. Every time your armor is destroyed. Every time you wake up.
You've got to keep buying more armor.
Yeah.
All of the other players return home without you, and you're left hitchhiking down a long road. Sad music is playing.
Yeah.
Just hire a blacksmith to follow you to craft more armor.
Where wakes up and they're surrounded by completed tax forms.
Oh no.
It's too lawful. Are there any other questions specifically about those bits about player agency and all that? You'll note, by the way, if you're following along with the document, I'm skipping a few bits. There are bits in here that are just here to answer questions, extra questions, so I can go, if you have a question, go there. But most of it, I'm just doing the critical bits here today. But yeah, let's do the hard lines. Right, I'll start with a general description of the sort of content level that will be in the game, and then we'll go into the hard lines specifically. For violence and the like, it'd be between 15 rated or 18 rated action movie, not 18 rated horror movie. I won't be doing like gory descriptions. The goriest description in the Guild of Icons after 2 years was fucking from Bree, not from me. So and
Wait, what was that?
yeah, it was you recently going full hostile on a knoll.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I won't be doing gory descriptions. There will be no violence dealt to young children, or children at all, really. If you put children in harm's way yourself to try and exploit the fact that they're seemingly immortal, you'll find they've suddenly disappeared from the game and there will be no more children in there. Where did the children go? Who knows? Maybe they're in a magical dimension of lollipops now. But yeah, that's it won't be happening. As for sexual content, you can definitely have sex in this game, but I won't be describing it, and I don't want any of you describing it. What will happen is we'll do the standard Hollywood trope of, fade to black, pan to fireplace sort of thing. You go upstairs in a brothel, or you go home to your loving partner, whatever, and it's just you go upstairs for the night. That's it. So that's the sort of content level now for the hard lines. So first of all, no non-consensual sexual content of any kind. No sexual content involving minors. There will be no sexism, homophobia, or transphobia in the game. That is a hard line. I will stop the game if anyone tries to do that. I don't expect any of you will. I know you all well enough. I don't expect that, but it's best to say it out loud. Then on the side of race, fantasy and racism have a difficult history. There will be no coded fantasy racism in the game. So there will be no, people who think other people are worse than them and act that way. You will find xenophobia in the game, and by that I mean, if you've ever been to a really localsy pub where everyone just, the music stops, everyone's looking like, you're not from around here, that sort of thing, yes, but not anything directed to someone because of any race or heritage. It will be because you're not from this very specific village, and we're not used to having people who are not from this very specific village here. There is one exception to this, and this is dragons. It is mechanically impossible to separate out the fact that green dragons tend to be evil. Black dragons are evil. All the chromatic dragons are evil. Brass dragons are good, etc. Because it's so built into it that their actual mechanical stat blocks are that way. I would have to rewrite every single one, and that is something I am tempted to do, but I don't have the time to do it yet.
Sorry, this is just an idea, and it might be a distraction a little, but if a dragon is evil, maybe its scales just become chromatic, and then they're shinier.
That's actually something I've been talking about in the Discord. Yeah, that is something I've been thinking about. But at the moment, what I'm going to do, just for ease of it, is to just look at this as dragons aren't people, all right? While they might project themselves on people, I don't think we should project ourselves onto dragons. They are usually beyond our levels of intelligence and understanding anyway. If you look at their stats, I am inclined to look at them the way I look at the aliens from War of the Worlds, right? The Martians. They are not us. They haven't got our cultural background. They are just a completely different worldview. And so anything that we project onto dragons, we should not assume is... Sorry. Anything that we see in dragons we should not assume is being projected from us. It's a weak and cowardly excuse out, I think. And I prefer Andy's suggestion, but I haven't fully gone through and checked it all through to see if it'll actually work yet. But that is an idea I've actually been toying with in the Discord, in the Guild of Icons chat. Dragons are the only exception, I will say. Beholders, which are typically known as the most racist thing in D&D, they're not. They just hate everything other than beholders in this. Not everything other than beholders. That is racist. Everything other than themselves in this. Specific, like they're egomaniacs, essentially. So that includes other beholders. They hate everyone. And then the last part of this one for my hardlines, there is sort of the opposite of a hardline. It's something that will come up, and that is that you can be taken as slaves in this game. It will not be based on race, as I've said. There is no legalized slavery in the game, but bad guys will be bad guys, and I find that adding in slavers gives people the wonderful opportunity to punch them in the fucking face. Which is, cathartic. It will be a consequence of loss in battle or banditry, and that sort of thing. And the more mechanical, sort of looking from it outside of the game reason, is it gives me a way for you to survive a TPK occasionally, because what we can do is, you've lost against a group of bandits. Well, they might just take you alive for, hostage, basically. Hostage negotiation. And you can do a jailbreak session. And if you fail that, we'll count it as player death. Basically, I'm not having people roleplay long-term enslavement. That's not what the game's about. But that will only ever be a short-lived thing just to get you out of a TPK. So, now that we are on hard lines, Talia mentioned one. I'm going to add that to the list as well. So, Tyler, can you put that in the chat again? It's scrolled past like 2 million things.
Ant swarms?
Yeah, that was it. It was swarms of ants. Yeah, that's it. We'll put that out. I'm going to make another heading. I'm editing the live document as well, so it'll update there. Insects, no swarms of ants or ant-like things. I'm going to have to update one of the quests I've got. No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got no problem doing that. There are millions of things in the monster manual. But yeah, that's fine. We won't do swarms of creatures, of like swarms of bugs and stuff like that. That's absolutely fine. Anyone else got any they want to say now? But bear in mind, you don't have to say that now.
Nothing from me.
I'll wait like 5 seconds in case everyone's being extremely polite and worried about talking over people.
Nope.
Looks like we're good. Okay. As I say, you can DM me and I'll update this document anonymously just to say, well, I won't update it anonymously. I'll still update it. It'll say I've updated. Well, it doesn't say I've updated, but you'll know it'd be me. But I won't say who said what. We can just add those on there. Is there any other content I need to mention? I think that's everything regarding content. That's fine, Goggles. Just DM me about them. That's fine. So a couple of things that you can expect out of me then. I improvise a lot. You can tell because I'll say I'm a lot. With the exception, of course, of the Guild of Icons, which is entirely written in advance. I've got the next 20 episodes fully written up, and everyone has their scripts. So it's pretty improvisational. Don't be worried that you can't do something because I might not have planned it. Don't be worried about ruining my planning, right? Just have fun, okay? I can improvise. I've improvised a session where Cthulhu was fighting Tiamat, and the party were in an airship. None of that was meant to happen at the start of the session. I didn't make that up on the spot. I can handle anything.
D&D is in essence a game about improv.
Yeah. Or at least 5th edition is, and 3rd probably. I think it gets a bit more grognardy in 4th, where it's more like a war game. But yes. So yeah, I improvise a lot. You are the official composer, Talia. Yes. Player absence is a bit different in Westmarches. So Westmarches, the whole premise is if you want to go on an adventure, you tell me. You get a party together. You work out a time. You tell me when that time is and what adventure you want to go on, and then I prep it. So party absence doesn't happen as much, but it can still happen. Like, for example, if you're ill last minute, give me as much of a heads up as you can. Obviously, sometimes you get ill like 5 minutes before the session. You can't help that, but just let me know when you can. Just because then I can sort out all the like elements on stream. Mainly, it's not for the prepping. And otherwise, though, theoretically, you should be there for most sessions involving you because you've specifically asked for it at that time. But, other than, force majeure reasons. The other side of things is if you aren't present, you don't gain XP and items. The reason for that, normally we had everyone just leveling at the same rate in the Guild of Icons, which I think is fine for that. But for Westmarches, it is kind of designed to work with players at different levels. So I expect you all to be at different levels all the way through. And we'll get to milestones occasionally where you will all level up. And I'll talk about leveling in a sec because that will be a bit different. You'll all level up when you hit milestones, so you won't get left behind either. And they're at each tier of play, so you won't find yourself like level 2 while everyone else has access to Fireball, and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're not there, you don't gain XP and items. But because you are organizing the game, you're probably going to be there for most of the games that you're there for. So I wouldn't worry too much. Then I think, what else can you get from me? I also homebrew a lot. I will homebrew monsters. I almost never run a monster as it is in the monster manual, not least because the monster manual actually tells you not to. But yeah, if you happen to know a lot about how monsters look, you'll be very surprised. They'll almost always still be in the same spirit of those monsters, unless I've got a specific lore reason for them not to be, or a specific dungeon reason for them not to be. But, I might run a green dragon that has a slightly different breath weapon or attacks in a slightly different way. But, they'll, broadly speaking, be similar. But you won't be able to rely on the numbers you know. Given that, though, I will let you know information ahead of time. If you prepare by, for example, before going all out and attacking, just asking me saying, what do I know about green dragons? I might go, ask for a nature check or something like that. And if you're good at nature, maybe you do know a lot about green dragons, and then I can tell you things about the stat block I've got in front of me. And so you can be prepared. Al's going, fire, and that won't work with a green... Well, I mean, it would work all right with a green dragon, but when does it not work, to be honest? When you're against tieflings. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much what you can expect from me, game-wise. It won't be extremely serious, but it won't be just jokes, right? We'll have... I was about to say, we have fun here. But realistically, we're here to have fun. We will make jokes occasionally. The plot will attempt to be serious, though. The only exceptions will be every Christmas. I do tend to do a Baboonmas session, which is, what can I say about Baboonmas that isn't explained in the words Baboonmas? Yeah, it's that one's weird. That one's really weird. And if load of people cancel last minute and there's just like one or two of us, I will do a weirder session, guaranteed. But yeah, usually it's going to be a fairly normal plot, but then jokes sort of as we go along.
Pertinent information if you're making a druid. Almost everyone in this world has seen a baboon.
Yes.
So you can use that for your wild
You can use it's Baboonmas, one word. And so yes, you can wild shape into a baboon if you want. Everyone has seen one. Doesn't matter where you grew up. So that's about me done. Does anyone have any questions? I won't broadly be changing my entire DM style for you, but if you have any questions, I can answer those.
Nope.
We're good. Thank you, Andy. Andy's fast becoming the player wrangler, which means they're my favourite player.
Oh no, am I?
Yeah, you can have inspiration.
Become unwranglable.
Well done.
So, let's talk about, while I was talking about homebrewed monsters, let's talk about homebrew rules. We do have a couple. They're not major. I think, like, obviously everyone who's already played in the Guild of Icons will know all these, so you can have a nap. With the exception, actually, one. Listen to this one before having your nap, goddammit. During overworld travel, we're going to use the gritty realism resting rules. That is only during overworld travel. When you're in a dungeon, you've got your normal rest. So short rest is an hour, long rest is 8 hours, right? When you are on the world map, basically, a short rest is 8 hours and a long rest is 7 days. The reason is, otherwise, overland travel, not many things happen in one day. You're pretty much alpha striking every encounter you get into. Which makes them very weird, very swingy, and not too interesting. So it mixes things up a bit there. It also means you'll be clocking up more downtime for everyone else if you take a long rest while traveling, because every day that passes while you're on a quest ticks the clock forward for everyone else, and when they go on their quest, that amount of time has passed and they can use that for downtime. So don't worry about taking a rest on there. Your other players will love you for it, because it means they can, I don't know, finish crafting a magic item. Otherwise, not too many. We use a flanking rule. So there's a variant rule for flanking in I think it's in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but the idea basically is if you're on one side of a creature and you have an ally on the other side of the creature, you have advantage on all melee attacks against that creature. I alter this slightly so that this only applies if both of you, the two surrounding this creature, are adjacent to only one enemy character. If there's other enemies around you, next to you, you're not really able to concentrate enough to flank someone, right? Your day is busy. We'll explain this in play. It's a little easier to see in play than it is sort of to visualize it. So don't worry, we can explain this as things are going. We can explain all of this as we're going, to be honest. But yeah, so it's just a slight tweak to those rules. And God, I don't use that many home rules, do I? And the other thing is I throw in something from 4th edition, which is minions. Minions have 1 hit point. They deal average damage. They never roll damage. Sorry, they have hit points as normal. This is something I've stolen from MCDM. They worked a little bit on this. They have hit points as normal, but any attack kills them. And the reason they have hit points as normal is because if previously they had 1 hit point, and when they have 1 hit point, if you cast sleep, you are getting everyone. If they've got hit points as normal still, then sleep and the things that work based on total hit points still sort of apply their mathematics properly. So,
but if you cast a spell that does half damage on a save, they avoid it completely.
Yeah, if they make the save. If they fail the save, they still die.
And were these minions frozen in ice during the 30s and 40s?
They were in the ice caves. Yeah. So there's also, I've also put in a cleave rule. It's complicated to explain, so I'm going to let you all read that one. That's in the Session 0 document. Basically, if you do a melee attack against a minion with a 2-handed weapon that you're proficient in, so you're going like, ah! You hit the first one, kill it, right? You can then move over and apply that same attack roll, not rolling again, but use the same number against the next one with a slightly higher AC. And the AC gets higher and higher the more you're cleaving through, because you're getting slowed down by getting through all that bone and cartilage. There's a little explainer that says exactly how hard it is. Theoretically, to hit 7 creatures, you have to hit AC 27 plus what the original is, which is pretty much impossible. So it's usually going to be like 2 or 3 that you're going to hit. And a crit will hit all of them, all possible targets, regardless of their AC. So that'll be neat. But that's all of our homebrew rolls. Oh, what was that? Nope. I don't know.
Just take out everybody you're adjacent to.
Yeah, absolutely everyone. You're like a windmill, and you just voomph and take them all out. But that only happens on.
And if you have reach, you can get a little bit extra. Yeah,
exactly. You can get even more with reach. So that can be very good. Has to be a two-handed weapon because you have to really be putting all your effort into it. But that works on versatile as well. I will count versatile if you're using both hands. You have to be using both hands basically.
If you have reach, do you hit all of the ones 2 squares away and 1 square away, or just the 2 squares away one?
Both.
Wow.
Full cleave.
Reach is great. This only applies to minions, to be clear. So you have to get yourself in the middle of a ton of minions, which means they'll be hitting you a lot. But if it happens, it'll be very cool. So it makes paladins a little more useful against minions, because otherwise, if you run minions, marshals tend to suffer because a wizard can fireball them all away. I think a martial crit should be roughly about as good then, surely. Well, actually, it's still nowhere near as good as a fireball for getting rid of minions, but it helps them get back
I have a
up.
question about minions.
Yes.
If you're playing a spellcaster and you have like summoning spells, will those make if you pick like make 8 of a really tiny little creature, will those be minions?
No, I'll let them run along the stats set in the spell, just because I don't know how much of a debuff that is going to be to that, and I don't really want to be debuffing people's spells. I'd rather buff marshals than debuff casters.
Okay.
So it'll also apply that way if you go up against like a necromancer and the necromancer uses a summoning spell. They'll be running standard stat blocks as well. Minions are more there so I can field like armies against you that aren't going to immediately kill you, but are really going to be making for a different tactical layout for you.
Cool, thanks.
But yeah, that's all of the homebrews, and again, they're all in the document with some diagrams, and we will explain these through play as well. I actually think doing it is usually the easiest way to learn anyway for myself. People learn differently though. But yeah, that's all of that. Let's get on to let's do how Nordmark actually is going to work, how westmarches is actually going to work, and then we'll get on to the good bit, the character creation, the bit we've all been waiting for. So I've written a small quick start which you can find, and I'm just basically going to read this word for word because it is like 10 lines, 14 lines, something like that. It's really short bullet points of exactly how a game is going to go. So you're going to have a collection of available quests and rumors. I will start you off with a couple, and you'll find them as you're out on adventures. It will be up to you, the players, to organize this collection of quests and rumors. Okay, if a party as a whole forgets about a quest or a rumor, I don't care. It's gone. For me, that's good because that means the forgettable ones are like evolutionarily getting removed, right? Survival of the fittest rumors and quests. So you put them down somewhere. I'll let you lot organize how that goes. You could maybe have a Google document or something like that, where whatever works best for you. You could put a document up on Legend Keeper if you want. Just let me know. I can create a folder that you lot can all write in. Whatever works best. Then pick a quest that you like. Talk in the Discord and ask who wants to go on that quest with you. Get a couple of players, like minimum probably 3 just for survivability. Like you could go one-on-one if you really had to, but you probably die. But there's not really a maximum, but I think any more than 6 is going to be hard for me to run, but it can be doable. If you have more than 6, talk to me about it. Or whoever's running, because there may be other DMs in the future. So maybe, but try and hit between 3 and 6 people. Work out when you lot can play. that match up with at least one of the DMs' times. My times are Fridays at 7:30 p.m. BST. Usually every other Friday, because I will be doing Guild of Icons still. But yeah, just get a couple of them. Get like 3 or 4 days when all of you can make it. Come to me and go, these are the days, pick one. I'll go, all right, let's do it then. And then I will start prepping the session from there. That's when I actually begin planning for you. Then at that point, you'll know how much downtime you've got, because downtime will be set from when the last session ended on the calendar. Now, there is an actual calendar website that you can go to. It's linked in the Nordmark quick start, and I will be updating what the current date is, so you'll be able to just go there and it'll say this is the current date, right? I will expect you to keep track of when you last finished a game, so just write it on your character sheet or something like that in somewhere, and just say like last quest ended on the 5th or whatever. Those in the Guild of Icons, by the way, the calendar is different to what you're expecting. It is not as stupid fantasy as the Guild of Icons one is. It is a much simpler one with 5 days a week, because there are 5 days in a work week when it comes to Xanafaga's Guide to Everything's Downtime system, which is what we will be using. So then just work out what weeks you're allocating to downtime. We can go into how downtime works out of this. I think we don't have to do it here, because it's all written in one book. Like, it's not my rules, but I can explain what your options are. But there are a lot of options, and they are pretty good, actually. It's a really nice system. But what we'll actually do is resolve that downtime at the start of the session. So at the start of the session, you'll have already said, I'm spending 2 weeks on this, I'm spending 3 weeks on that, and that's great. You'll come in and I'll go, okay, I need you to spend this amount of gold, I need you to roll this, I need you to roll this, I'll roll this on the consequences table, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll narrate it, we'll resolve that, and then we'll get going. Your adventure will happen. During that, there will be a lot of plot hooks, right? A lot of them will be thrown at you. Books you find will have maps in them. You might see several places along the way that could be like adventure locations. Just jot those down in your notes as you're going along. And then also, if you find a new location while you're going along, update the world map. The world map is editable by players in Legend Keeper. You can add new places. And
Can confirm, have done.
Yeah, Andres has tested it for me, thankfully, by adding a big boob, and it's not there anymore. But yeah, so just you put those on. It's up to you to write whatever you want about those. Anything under the world map is your ownership now. I will update the image periodically to show where you've been, because at the moment there's sort of a parchmenty fog of war, and I will clear that to track where everyone's been, so you start to see these wonderful lines along it showing everyone's adventures. But you can put down pins wherever you want. The full size map is there, it's just mostly covered in fog. And then I mean, have a great time. Hopefully, I'm specifically requesting it, and when the adventure ends, write down the calendar date that's on the calendar, so that when your downtime starts for next time. And this is optional, write an after action report or make an after action report. Now you don't have to do this, but what this is it's a bit of art of some kind about your quest, about what happened. Maybe it's one magic item you found. Maybe it's a particularly beautiful vista you saw. Maybe it is maybe you're drawing a picture of the bard slaying a white dragon or something like that. Maybe you're writing it like a newspaper article. Maybe you're writing a diary entry, something like that. But make one of those, and share it with everyone. And if you do that, you will automatically have inspiration at the start of your next session and 25 gold pieces. But you don't have to. But there's definitely an incentive if you do. And at that point, you're done. Go back to number 1 and start looking for your next quest. So yeah, you can create it however you want. Like some of the options I've seen, people have done like music, they've done songs, they've done poems, literally anything that makes you feel happy making it, really. And so yeah, that's the full flow, and then we just keep going. the only other thing is you will gradually level up by getting XP, and the XP will be it's mostly going to be exploration based. I haven't fully set what the XP triggers are going to be yet. I'm still thinking them through. I'm sort of writing a list, and I'll let you know what those are before the first game starts. But you will sort of gradually get XP as you're going through. You will stop leveling up at a certain point called a milestone. Now, each milestone is tied to a tier of play, and at that point, a new quest will be available, and that thing will let everyone level up. And that quest, whoever goes on it, that is the main sort of world story quest sort of thing, you know? The idea is this lets us further the sort of a group story, and then everyone, regardless of whether you went on the quest, levels up to that milestone. So the milestones I've got set at the moment, I think, are going to be 3rd level, because that's when you get your subclass, 5th level, because that's the first major upgrade in power, 11th level, which is the second major upgrade in power, and 17th level, which is the last major upgrade in power. And those do, apart from the 3rd level one, match the tiers of play as well. So there won't be too many of them. I might tweak things a little, because getting to 17th level can be hard, but you know, things like that. And that's when I expect like major plot changes to happen. They won't, it's not going to be very heavy plot, right? But it's going to be, I'm thinking at the moment, kind of like, you know, when you get in Oblivion to a certain point and then suddenly Oblivion gates open up everywhere, it's just going to change the fundamental sort of availability of adventure in the game. Like when you get to a certain point in Skyrim and suddenly there are dragons. Like that, you know? It may not be dragons, it may not be Oblivion gates, it may be both of those and you'll call me a hack. But, you know, it'll be something like that that fundamentally changes things, and there'll be a bit more plot going on in the actual quest.
As you're walking about, a small elf runs up to you. By Azora, by Azora, by Azora.
And you shout him off the cliff because we're mixing up titles.
So, does anyone have any questions about how Nordmark itself actually works? That flow?
With the sort of key quest things, is that going to sort of... You said that the further you venture out, the higher level things kind of are. Will that almost bring the boundaries in because you know everyone's higher level, or is it still just going to be the same sort of distance? It will
sort of... Well, it'll extend the boundaries, I guess, that you I'm not going to stop you going as far away as possible if you can somehow survive it. But, yeah, it will sort of extend the boundaries, I guess. It'd be like climbing up one of those goddamn Ubisoft towers. But, the difference is that, you know, like in Breath of the Wild, you can go straight to fucking Hyrule Castle if you want right now. But it will be very difficult. If you look on the world map, this is not something I can broadcast at the moment because I haven't got a source set up for it. But you'll see there's a load of hexes. Each hex is 8 miles, which is approximately 1/3 of a day if you are traveling in normal terrain, so not through forests or hills. So every 3 hexes is 1 day of travel, right? 24 miles. The rough scale I've got that you can borrow from, it will probably vary a little bit, is that every 3 hexes from home is CR goes up by 1. So the nearest 3 hexes and that radius, CR1, then CR2, CR3, CR4, etc., etc. It won't be exact. There will be pockets that will be harder for sure, and I'll telegraph those. Like, oh, you've arrived at the Caldera of Dragons. Maybe that's slightly harder. But, you know, most of the time, it's going to be that sort of scale. And for those thinking that initial home area seems quite small, I intend there to be something in every single hex. So it should be a lot, hopefully. Hopefully. Anything else on that?
Yes, I'm an anonymous Cantlore artificer. What are these strange concepts such as an overworld map and downtime?
Silence, nerd. Right. You're not getting inspiration for the Guild of Icons for being in your character in this game. Unless you somehow play the same character, although that would be disappointing. But speaking of characters, it's time to do it. Let's make some characters. Right. So, first up, you all know roughly what sources are permitted for your stuff. They are the core ones, right? So those are defined as the player handbook. Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, which I always try and say is Foam of Toes. I don't think there's any other races in there. There might be Orc. I don't know.
But most of them got redone in the other Mordenkainen book.
Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Volo's Guide to Monsters, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. The only specification is that if it's been redone in a later book, go with that, right? So in the case of Ranger, Beastmaster, go with the Tasha's one. In the case of any race that has been reprinted in Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse, go with that one. And frankly, to be honest, you'll usually prefer that version anyway. I think it's a very rare that there's a better version that's in the older edition. If something's not available in there, let me know. But probably there's enough in there for you. Nothing is permitted from Unearthed Arcana or from Homebrew. Just because there's just too much for me to keep in my head, and if we've got multiple DMs, they're gonna have to keep it in their heads as well. It's just so much to have on hand. So the other thing I'm going to tell you about the sort of theme here for Nordmark. So the idea is that you are all starting at humble beginnings. You live in a really tiny town. It is farmers, it is fishers, it is charcoalers, that sort of thing. There's a little bit of trade, but there's not too much. There's a little bit of education, but again, not too much. And you are all feeling this spark of wanting better. And that's why, or one of the reasons I want you to also think of personal motivations to go adventuring, but that is one of the sort of core drivers for adventure is you don't want to be in what is effectively fantasy Rust Belt. You want to get something better for yourself. You feel betrayed by those who have stolen from you and from your people and from your land. Basically, about 1,000 years ago, roughly on the calendar, a fantasy Britain came through and took everything not nailed down. And that included all the magic, all the gold, and all the jewels. And then, when each and every one of the feudal lords that ruled over each place with an iron fist died, they buried themselves with it. And you kind of think that probably should belong to you, not them, because they didn't do shit, really. So that's sort of, yeah. You're tomb raiding, but you're doing a reverse British museum. Basically, you're reclaiming.
We're making the museums into gift shops.
Yes.
And taking everything for free.
Yeah. You're reclaiming what was once yours.
I would just like to point out that if we were to go blow up Westminster, this would just be my life.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
So, when it comes to character creation, I kind of want you to be thinking of humble beginnings, okay? This is why I've said that until session 0, I didn't necessarily want you making characters, because some of you might come up with some really weird stuff that does not fit a humble beginning start. And the reason I want humble beginnings is, 1, I want humble beginnings, and 2, it fits better into the theme of going out and reclaiming what's been stolen from you if you're not already some weird, powerful chosen one, right? There are no chosen ones. You are all ordinary people taking back what is yours and becoming powerful through your adventures. So let's actually get cracking then. We'll start with stats. So we're going to use rolled stats. We're going to use 4d6 drop 0. So that means, for those unfamiliar, you roll 4 6-sided dice. You take the smallest one away, put it in the bin, You don't need that anymore. And then you add up the number that you get. Write that down. We're not doing them in order, so you get to choose which of these stats this will be. And then you do that once for each stat. So I'll let you all start doing that. Some of you may have already done it, I don't know. Some of you are ahead of the game. But
I will roll this one at a time.
Yeah, you've got massive wooden d6s. But yeah, you just roll them all and then work them out. And while you're doing that, I will have a quick look at... Oh yeah, there is a mulligan. If this goes shit badly for you, let me know. There is a mulligan. If your total modifiers after rolling, and we'll work out what your modifiers are, don't add up to at least a +4, you can start again. +4 is what you get from standard array, so it means basically if you're below average, you get to go again. So pretty much you're guaranteed to have an above average character.
Just so you're informed, I will be switching away from the wood dice now because that was just funny. But
did it roll 3 ones?
No, actually, no. I got a 13 on that roll. It's not bad.
Oh, 13's good.
But it's very clumsy.
Yeah, fair.
Nice. That's 12, 15, 11, 9, 14, 11.
All right, that's pretty good. So 12, 15, 11, 9. Was that 14 and then 11?
Yep.
So 12 is going to be a +1. 15 is going to be a +2. Wait, +3. 11 is going to be a +1. It's amazing how many stat blocks I've written and I'm still shit at this. Wait, 11's a +0.
Yeah, because it's the same as 10. It goes up every even number.
Yeah.
On the
I could do this, honest.
Yeah.
+2 on 14 and a +0 again. So that gives you a total of +5. So you have a legal character. Excellent. So keep those stats.
I'm sorry. 13.
13.
13.
13.
13.
13.
13.
13.
16. 17.
16, 17. Okay. +1.
I think that's legal.
I think it is. +1. +1. +1. You should go non-variant human. But no, yeah, sadly we're doing variant human. But so that's +1, +1, +1, +1, +2, and then +3. That's pretty good.
The last two are both +3s.
I've got a total modifier of -2.
Andy, what did you roll?
9, 7, 11, 13, 6, 14.
Yeah, you roll again. You roll
Andy,
all of them again.
You know how you were saying that you were thinking of a character before this? Do you
I
think this might be a sign?
I could make it work.
So, really good stats from Andres. Decent ones from Pixel.
I got the best roll imaginable.
Oh, what we got?
Yeah, I'm just going to put this in the Discord, actually.
I swear to God, if you got 18 across the board.
Not across the board, but I rolled a really fun 18.
Okay. I'm just going to add yours up, Talia, because I think you might need to reroll.
Yeah, that's a -1.
+2, +0, +0, +0, minus. That's a 0 in total. Yeah, Talia, you reroll. You get to do it again.
I put mine in the YouTube chat. What's the upper limit again?
There isn't an upper limit. The maximum you can get is 18s across the board, I guess. But no upper limit. So you've got a +1, a +3, a +0, a +1, a +0, and a +3. That's not bad, no. That's what? 1, 4, 5. That's a +8 in total. Nice. See?
Right. On my reroll, I'm on +6 instead. With a 10, a 15, 14, 13, 15, 8.
Just to answer you, Goggles, we do not fill these out in order. You get to choose what order you put them in.
I thought I was doing pretty good, but
what was
I think I might be...
Sorry, Andy, what was your rerolled one?
10, 15, 14,
10, 15,
13,
14, 13,
15,
15, 8. Okay, I think that's legal, but I'll just double check.
I think it totals to a +6, but I may have put it wrong.
+2, +2, +1, +2, -2. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus. No, it's -1 for an 2, 4, 6, 7 -1 to a total of +6. Yep, yours is legal as well. Tali, that might be another reroll. How do you keep doing this? Hang on a sec. 15's a +2, 14's a +2, 12's a +1, 11's a +0, 8's -1, -1. Oh no, that might be alright. Hang on. 2, 4, 5, 4, 3. Nope, you get another reroll. Oh, Breezer in the chat there. Thank you. That lets me copy paste. That's a bit easier. So +3, +1, +0. Woo! Our first 18. +4, +2. I don't know why I was surprised there. You'd already said. And then +2. So that's 3, 4, 8. You're at the highest total with a +12.
This is funny because I managed to get grounded with no negative modifiers in standard array.
That's amazing. In AD&D, that would allow you to play a paladin.
Well, you might have broken the stats, but I broke the economy. Not fun time.
But would it allow me to play a bard?
Oh yeah.
Would allow you to play a bard in AD&D. It drove people to madness.
Tali, I'm begging you, roll again. How are you doing this? That's a what? A -1, a +0, a -1, a +0, a +1. That's a bad. Oh, goggles. I think yours is legal. I think that's good. I'll write that down. So 16's +3, 14's +2, 15's +2, 15's +2, 13's +1, 9 is -1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for a total of +8. That's good. There's a lot of good rolls coming out of this. And Talia.
Talia is the roll sink. All of the bad rolls are going to her.
Yeah. Has anyone posted their rolls and I've not seen them yet? I think I've got Goggles, Andy, Nolus, Bree, Andres, Pixel. We're still waiting on Talia to roll literally anything above a 10.
Yeah. I dropped mine in the chat.
Oh,
same.
Did I must have missed it. Hang on. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. That's why. I was looking in the Nordmark channel, not in the. All right, we got Benz as well, and Emphis and Aeon. So let me put them in. And Emphis. And I will say, for those rewatching the VOD because they're not able to be here, just do this and let me know what the numbers are, because I'm curious mainly. But I trust everyone.
I really thought I had a really decent roll, and then turned out to be just the passing grade.
Anything above a +4 is above average, so.
It is a +4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I'm gonna have at least. I'm gonna have one ability check that I'm just always going to fail.
Oh, Ben comes out at a +4 as well, but only just, and manages to clock in a 7 as one of the stats.
Oh no!
Emphis, what? Did I copy that wrong? Have you got a 4?
I have a 4.
Oh, I tell you what. Why don't I put this in?
4 roll need one of them I got was 5.
Ooh,
lucky I dodged that.
If you've got a 4 and an 18, that's interesting. That's a cool character.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me actually. I've just realized I've got a Google Doc open. Let me put this on screen so people can see the numbers. So I'm just going to do pixels at the top, because I've not filled it in. So it's 4, 3. Totals are +5. Your totals are +5, Pixel.
9 would be a -1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have plus.
And 15 is a plus.
Yeah, there we go. I've messed it up. Andrus's was a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fucking hell, 10.
I was really hoping it would go all for 13. Like, I was sort of rolled there.
Okay, let's do emphasis 1. Good to see a +4 out the gate. Then a +3. Then a +2. +0. -1. And then, oh my god, what is even this? Is this a -4? 4. Hang on, 10. 9 is -1.
-3 is a 4 is -3 and a 9 is a -1.
4 is -3. Oh god, there we go.
I think.
I rarely have to deal with stats that low. So the 3 and the 3 cancel each other out. So 4 + 2, 6, -1, total +5 still.
8, 6, 4. Yeah, -3.
So then Aeon, 16 + 3, 11's a +0, 10's a +0, 11's a +0, 12's a +1, and then a 17 for another +3. That's a good total. 3, 4, 7. So yeah, +7. Not bad. Talia, do we have a number that is good?
Yes, we do. We have 14, 14, and...
Oh, that's good. No, that's good. Yeah. All right.
The 18 there was
19, yeah.
Yeah, that'll help. Oh, there we go. So 14 is a +2, 14 is a +2, 8 is a -1. Yeah. 13 is a +1, and an 18 is a +4, and a 12 is a +1. For a total of 2, 4, 8, 10. Total of +9. All right. Yes, +4 or higher is what you need to be legal. Because that's what you would get from standard array, basically. No, +4. I'm looking at the notes right now. So yeah, I mean, everyone's got a legal character. There's some good stats on here. I'm not missing anyone, am I? I'm just scanning through. I think, no, we've got everyone's. So that's pretty cool. There's some interesting characters that are going to come from this. Okay, let's go on to race. So, as I've said, what I want you to be picking for race is Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse or Player's Handbook. If you choose one from the Player's Handbook, you can use the Legacy system. Legacy? Was it Heritage? Whichever it's called.
Lineage.
Lineage. That's it. So what that is, it's actually used in all of the Monsters of the Multiverse ones. And that is, you can either add a +2 to one stat and a +1 to another one, or you can add 3 +1s to different stats. I believe that's right. Hang on. I'm going to look up like CL from Monsters of the Multiverse just to be 100% sure I'm doing that right. Yeah, that's it. So +2 to one stat, +1 to another stat, or +1 to 3 stats.
Ooh, +1 for 3 stats works out well for me. I've got 3 odd numbers.
Yeah, that'll help.
The rest are even. So,
yeah.
And the top. Yeah.
So have a think about race. You may have picked one already. If you want human, by the way, we'll be doing variant human instead of the standard boring Player's Handbook human. Even though variant human is also from the Player's Handbook. And what that means is you get a feat, which is neat. We can decide a lot of that later. But have a think about what race you want to be. And start thinking, what classes you want to be as well. I'll give you a little bit of time to think while I talk about a little bit of the backstory of the game that you might need to know when it comes to class creation, right?
Just remember, if you want more feed, then you can subscribe to HisCursedness on OnlyFans.
God damn it. Okay, so things that apply to character creation that you might need to know. Planes. There are the standard elemental planes of air, fire, water. So, for example, this is appropriate for Genasi. There is a negative energy plane, which is sort of anti-magical and anti-life. It is not quite like the Shadowfell, but we could probably run something similar to that. The Feywild exists as is. There is a plane known as the Library, which is an infinite twisting corridor of books. looked over by a god of knowledge, voiced by Goggles. And there is a infinite plane of mirrors for which lets you walk from one mirror to another like teleports. The astral plane exists mostly as is. It's a little more spelljammer than the standard one in 5e in that you have boats flying around and out there. It is definitely not space, though. It is very much more the astral side, the sort of astral projection of your mind. It's just that there are boats living in there. And the Far Realms does exist. One that does not exist is the Underdark. The closest, well, which isn't a plane anyway, but the closest thing for the Underdark is actually the library. So that's under everything. You dig down enough, you're going to hit books, basically. And then it's books all the way down. So if you are playing, for example, a Drow, who are typically from the Underdark, you could play that, for example, as a... Instead of the idea of a deep elf, you're perhaps just an under mountain elf. Like dwarves are under mountain, and then the Duragar, which are even more under the mountain, which has always been a weird concept to me anyway. You could just live under a mountain like a dwarf. Or you could be native to the library, which could be, pretty cool. You could be a protector of knowledge there. And that goes also for like deep gnomes and that sort of thing. Otherwise, for character creation, if you're playing a cleric or a paladin, you might need to know about the gods. I don't expect everyone to know about the gods apart from their own one. I will expect most players to have a god, not players. God, that would be weird, wouldn't it? I expect characters to have a god because you're all from like quite a small town. It's quite a superstitious area. There's monsters abound. You want protection from a higher being. So I would like you all to pick a god. Now, I'll go through them all and give a sort of vague description of them. They're quite open-ended, so you can sort of pick a facet of some sort of ideal, and there's usually a god that will fit that. So I'll go from the top. Morian is the god of life and death, or healing, or disease, graves, that sort of thing. Appears as a floating alabaster mask. If any of you have ever read that particular one SCP Foundation story, that is 100% where I got it from. That, and there's a stop motion animation involving, I think, who was it? It was Mark Twain. And it was weird. Meets like the devil. So it's sort of like that. That's the sort of vibe. That's the personal enemy of one Razad the Blasting. There is Lullus, which is sort of all about games of chance and fortune, things going wrong as well. So not just Lady Luck, but also Lady Misfortune. But also about poverty and things like that. Appears as a silver mirror, and you can ask it a question and it'll show you every possible outcome rapidly, and you won't be able to tell which one's actually real. But sometimes they'll show you one that they want you to think is real. Then there is Insomnia, the most on-the-nose name, which is dreams, madness, that sort of thing. Usually speaks to you through your dreams. But you can also enter other people's dreams as well through them, which is a bit unusual. Then the slightly more sort of naturalistic ones for the druids out there, we have Ignova, which is growth and destruction, fire and nature. It is a tree that is on fire, constantly growing and burning at the same rate. Petrichor, which is sort of the god of air, god of water, of motion and currents, and also not moving as well. And you just sort of feel its presence at all times. It feels like the wind around you. It's sort of one of the more esoteric ones. And then you have Fontaine, who is probably the one you'd encounter most, tends to manifest more than anyone else. That's the god of earth and also the void, of mountains and canyons. Appears as like pillars of rock that jut out of the ground. Some of them can be quite small, maybe the size of an arm or something. Some can be the size of a mountain. And they'll appear and then they'll just sort of wither away over time. Then last two, somewhat more esoteric conceptual ones. We have Praetoritus, voiced by 8-Bit Goggles, the god of knowledge and instinct and story and song. So if you're into arcana, perhaps, if you're into knowledge and learning, that might be your god. They have their own demiplane, the library, which is beneath everything. You know, if you go into the library, you'll probably communicate with Praetoritus. And lastly, the quarreling lovers, which are one god, but appear as two. Appear as two lovers. They're usually a pair of humanoids. Not necessarily humans, but their age, gender, and species changes every time. And sometimes mid-conversation. And they will constantly argue with each other, despite being the same entity. You do get the sense they do love each other, though. And that will be... They sort of cover fate, freedom, order, chaos. And so, yeah, if you particularly lawful, maybe that's the one you like. If you particularly hate the law, then you, oddly enough, will find yourself with the same god as the policeman arresting you. But yeah, that's the full set. And so this mainly comes in for clerics and paladins, but it does come in for everyone else as well. And I've put in some example sort of cleric domains for what it comes under, because you've got to pick those at level 1. But if someone picks a cleric, we'll walk through it then. There's no point in me saying that now. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about the world. If I didn't have to tell you about the gods, I wouldn't tell you either. I don't think you need the lore of the entire Guild of Icons sort of nonsense. That's on a different continent, mostly. So yeah, you don't need to worry about it. All you need to worry is that baboons will somehow find their way to you eventually. Eventually. Al wants to voice a god. Al, I've got one for you, don't worry. Right, so how are we doing on picking races? You don't have to have finished your character today, by the way. I'm just kind of asking for see if anyone's picked anything yet. See if anyone's got anything in mind.
No idea.
Oh, Andres, what are you picking?
I'm playing the Drow.
Drow?
I'm playing the Drow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you thinking maybe someone who has lived under mountains, or are you thinking someone who has been a protector of the library, or what are you sort of thinking for more the heritage, I suppose? Because obviously you'll have lived in Airedale for a while, but, you know...
I would imagine heritage-wise library.
Library, okay, so... Perhaps ancestors were protectors of Praetoritus's domain, and then eventually migrated out for whatever reason, or whatever happened, and you ended up in Airedale. That's great. So what bonuses do you get from? Is Drow in NPMM? Did they update it, or is it just in Player's Handbook?
It's in BHB. Yeah, it's a handbook one, but I went for 3+1s because I felt like that was the best option.
Yeah, you're going for the lineage. That makes sense. Let me get this. So you get superior dark vision, if I recall.
Yes, indeed, and sunlight sensitivity.
Sunlight sensitivity is a fun one to roleplay.
I'm gonna have a hat.
That would be a good idea. Get like a really big hat. Yeah.
Do you remember the gondoliers from Morrowind?
Oh yeah, yeah. Where is? Oh, it's because it's under elf, isn't it? Like it's
yes.
That's why I can't see it in the list. I can't find elf now. I can't just see anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what else do you get? You get, obviously, your keen senses, so you get proficiency in perception.
Mm-hmm.
You get your Fey ancestry, advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep, which is great considering how often it's been happening recently in the Guild of Icons.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. You obviously get the trance, so you don't get the NPMM. Oh, well, actually, you get the option, because this was something I was saying earlier. NPM Modern Canons presents Monsters of the Modernverse, etc., etc. Reworks trance for the 2 elves in there, but it comes at a cost. So it's up to you. Do you want the Drow weapon training feat, or do you want the NPMM version of trance, where you can change your proficiencies after a long rest?
I imagine the second one is actually more useful than...
Well, you get more weapon proficiencies with the Drow weapon training than you would with the NPMM version. That's the.
That is true, but
that's the
during
difference.
downtime, I get the tool training.
Yeah, or
if I
you
get
can take
chance.
tool training absolutely as a downtime action. That's 100% something you can do to catch that up. Yeah, absolutely. So the new trance for those wondering, when you finish your long rest, you gain 2 proficiencies you don't have, each one with a weapon or a tool of your choice from the player's handbook. And that lasts until you finish your next long rest. So it is slightly more versatile. And the reason they've done this is to make it so that you can create, you're not pigeonholed into one type of character. So yeah, that makes sense. Right, what else do you get? Oh, you get Dancing Lights and eventually Fairy Fire. Those are great spells. I mean, Fairy Fire especially.
And darkness.
Oh, Darkness at 5th level. Ooh, that's good.
And then we can all attack the darkness.
Yeah. So, Charisma is going to be your spellcasting ability for those. Am I right in assuming you're going for a Charisma caster?
No.
No. Paladin?
No. No.
Ooh. Have you got an idea of class? Oh, you're going Wizard. Why am I surprised? You've already told me this.
No.
That's just me. Okay, so I'm going to make some notes on the Google Doc here, just so that everyone else can see. So, race, drow, ability scores. What are you putting them in then?
Strength is 13, dexterity 16, constitution 14, intelligence 18, wisdom 14, and charisma 13.
Okay, so 13, 16, 14. So that's going to be one of your plus ones from drow.
Yes. Then 18.
18.
Going to use up for plus 1.
Which is your,
and
yeah.
14, which is the next plus 1.
Next plus 1.
And then 13 again.
And then 13. Nice, nice.
I initially went for 2 18s, but then I thought, actually, no.
So that's going to give you, in the end, plus 1, plus 3, plus 2, plus 4, plus 2, and plus 1. What a hell of a set of stats, honestly. Like, to be starting off with. Strength, Dex, Con, Int, Wiz, Char. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was very surprised when I suddenly rolled something that was not a 13.
Notice this, for the sake of argument, NPMM also says you pick the spellcasting abilities of spells in each of the races in it. Well, that will apply for the races in it then. I've mentioned this sort of off stream, but I'll say it on stream. I don't want to deviate from raw wherever I can, because, well, apart from like pre-established things, because otherwise my brain will melt trying to keep track of it all. And I think, I don't think your character's going to suffer that much from this. Like, looking at these stats, like, you're going to be fine.
I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't mind it being intelligence for that as well.
Well, in this case, it is going to be charisma just for my own sanity.
Fair enough.
And yeah, class wizard. That's cool. Okay.
I know what I'm going.
Oh, what are you? Yep. What are you going for? Oh, no, that's Andres. There's Andy.
It sounds like there may be a few, but I'm going Tortle.
Tortle. Very nice. Very
and I'm
nice.
going Warlock.
Warlock. A Torlock. A Tortlock. A Wartle.
A Wartortle.
A Wartortle. Oh, God, no. We can't have Squirtle and Wartortle. So let me just get up the NPMM Tortle. Here we go. Okay, so ability scores, I guess. What are you...
So I'm splitting into three plus ones.
Okay.
So my strength is 14 for plus 2.
14 plus 2. Okay.
My dex is 8 for minus 1.
Okay.
My constitution is 16 for plus 3.
That makes sense.
My intelligence is 10 for plus 0.
Okay.
Wisdom. Wisdom is 14 for plus 2.
Fair enough.
And charisma's also 16 for plus 3.
Wow. That's nice. No, that's nice. That's a good set across the board. So you're going with Warlock. And you're going for a turtle. I like that.
Yeah, and because I have to pick my patron at first level, I'm picking Fiend.
Oh, a Fiend! Lovely. Okay. All the sort of archfiends from standard D&D do exist as is, just because I haven't renamed any of the tiefling bloodlines either. So you can just, if you want to pick one from there, or you can create your own. If you want to let me know.
I have an idea for this. Without getting too much into potential backstory stuff, I will a little. My character was an au pair for most of his life.
Okay.
And one of the kids that he was helping raise, he believed was a tiefling. But it wasn't a tiefling. It was something a bit more powerful than that. And as that fiend grew up, it was like, oh, that turtle treated me well. I'll give him a little
okay.
help.
We'll have to talk a bit on that because the humble beginnings does not necessarily include au pairs, but I love it, and we'll see how we can make that work.
It could just be that he had no useful skills, and this was the only thing that he was able to provide to the village.
That could work.
And as the child gave you the power, their horns disappeared, and they moved to Karaki, where they found a teddy bear.
How about something like you, as a kid, went exploring one day and you found an old house and there was an old manor in it? Well, not in the house. That would be weird. You found an old manor, and the people there were really nice, and they hired you to babysit essentially, as you.
Yeah.
And no one else had ever heard of this house. Like.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I'm up.
And you come back. Okay, sweet. That fits. You see, because there you still got the humble beginning, but you've still got that little air of weird.
Great, thank you.
I like that. And yeah, you babysit a fiend. I really like that. That's nice. No, I like that. Okay, that's really nice. Has anyone else made any decisions?
Yeah,
I've got something. Okay.
Well, we'll go with Aeon first, then we'll go with Bree.
Okay. Human.
Nice.
Cleric.
Human. Cleric. Okay, we'll have to go through the gods. That's fine. That's no problem.
So do you want to talk about clerical stuff, or?
Let's do ability scores first, and then I'll
fine.
I'll walk you through like some example domain. Well, just let me know what domain, and I'll walk you through some gods that can fit that. Basically.
Cool. So, going down the line, then 11.
11. Okay.
10.
Okay, 10.
12.
12 on Constitution. Okay.
17.
17 on Int, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, I was just double checking. All right, Wiz.
18.
Ah, that explains it. Yep. Okay.
11.
And then 11. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. A high intelligence cleric will be interesting to see. I love it. I love it already.
I will be in the knowledge domain.
Ah, there we go. Okay. So for knowledge, the one that jumps out immediately is Praetoritus.
That is also the one that jumps out to me.
Yeah, the one at the library.
So that's what we're going with. The reason earlier today I was asking awkward questions about demiplanes.
Yeah.
Was because I was trying to figure out how easy it is to just go in and out of the library. And whether it should be like an obsession with the library should be a sort of long-term goal or motivating factor for the character, or whether it's like, oh, you can just go there, so it doesn't make sense to be obsessed with that as a concept.
You can just go there because there's entrances everywhere, but it's not easy to survive in there. It's defended. It's full of minotaurs, for example, that roam the place because they have labyrinthine knowledge. They always know where they are, and it's easy to get lost in there. So it's a very dangerous thing to obsess over, for sure, if you want a dangerous obsession.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean we could I could adjust it then to say I'm obsessed with something in there, right? There's particular books, there's particular knowledge that I want that is in the library. And the obsession is not a rational one. It's like I keep dreaming about it or something.
Very nice. Okay, we can work with that. Absolutely. Great. Yeah, I think that's great.
Cool.
All right. Very nice. I like that. And also, have a look at a feat for your variant human.
I took a skim. I was thinking maybe Ritual Caster or something.
That could be great. I mean, you don't have to decide right now because obviously there's so many of them. But just decide before the first session, really.
Cool.
Do clerics not have ritual casting?
I don't know.
If they don't, then, if they do, then I won't take it, obviously, but I'll double check.
Yeah, we can sort all this out at another point because there's clerics do have ritual casting actually.
No problem.
But yeah, we can work that out. There'll be a lot of good mixes for someone with high int whiz and cleric abilities. Okay, Bree, you were ready as well.
Okay, so to the surprise of no one, I'm going Tiefling.
Race Tiefling. No surprises there.
Specifically, I'm going to go for a Dispator Tiefling.
Okay, let me get the...
So that's specifically, basically the Spine Infiltrator bloodline.
Yeah,
so
I'm just loading it up because it's taking ages.
Yeah, obviously, so obviously Tieflings get spells at different, a free spell at every level. Well, like first level, third level, and fifth. So for a Dispator Tiefling, that's Thaumaturgy as a cantrip, Disguise Self at third level, and Detect Thoughts at fifth.
Okay. There we go. I found it. I just couldn't type. That's why. All right, Tiefling.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's Dispater. Sorry, not Tor.
That's all right. I just couldn't type. Okay, very nice. Detect Thoughts, a spell I love. Thanks, Rosad. Okay. What ability scores are you ending up with then?
Okay, so I'm going 10 strength, and that's my lowest stat.
Okay.
16 dexterity.
Okay, so +3. Nice.
13 constitution. I learned my lesson with grounded. I'm going to make sure I get hit points.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah. I still haven't added the racial bonuses here. I need to do that.
Oh, right, sure. Yeah, we can do that in just a sec.
Yeah. 14 intelligence.
Okay.
18 in wisdom.
8? Ooh. Yeah, a very high wisdom. Okay. Sorry, I was just assuming you were doing a tiefling rogue. So +4 in wisdom and charisma.
14.
14 for +2. So let's sort out your racial abilities. Do you want the ones that come from tiefling, or do you want to use the lineage system?
I think I'll use the lineage system because, to be honest, I've got more than enough. Remind me, is it 20 or 18 that's your hard limit at character creation?
20. So you can take wisdom up to 20 if you want.
That would be fun.
So you can put +2 in one and +1 in another, or you can put down 3 +1s. Up to you.
Okay. You know what? I might as well put +2 in wisdom to get 20.
All right. Nice.
I'm not going to
+1.
even bother Yep, I'm not even going to bother improving strength.
No.
For reasons I'll explain in a moment.
For a +1, the Constitution is looking like a really good candidate because that'll up you to a +2.
Yeah, Constitution's always nice.
And it is your only odd number.
Yeah, I'll turn that into a 14.
Okay.
So, class-wise, what I'm planning here is basically a my initial plan is basically a druid rogue multi-class.
Okay. What are you starting with?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm starting with druid.
Okay, so class druid. So I'm just doing some formatting to make it a bit easier for everyone to read.
So I might change my mind as I'm playing, but my plan here is basically to get to 2 or 3 levels in druid, and then start taking levels in rogue. And my concept's basically sort of like she's sort of like you have a played the Thief games?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because basically Garrett's, obviously he's a thief, but his whole thing was he was basically taken in by an order and trained, but he just decides to use his skills for thieving anyway. And she's basically just going to be a sort of like a druid who, I mean, obviously her sort of rogue thing isn't going to be stealing per se, but it's basically she was trained as a druid, but she started getting up to rogue things with rogue skills.
Okay.
And just uses her abilities for that.
That sounds cool. Okay, that's Bree done. It's a good character up there. So, who we got left? We have Pixel, Nolus, Goggles, Ben, and Emphis. Obviously, you don't have to sort these out now. I'm just sort of like hearing from anyone who just happens to have theirs done. Actually, it is about 9:15. Let's take a break because I need the toilet. And Talia. Talia, why? Oh, I've not bolded you. That's why I didn't see you. Sorry, Talia. And Talia. So, yeah, let's take a break, which will give you a bit more time to think as well. Everyone who has already sorted out a race and a class, have a think about backgrounds. And we'll sort those out as well. And yeah, we'll be back in about, let's say, we'll be back at about past, if that's enough time for everyone. And
I mean,
yeah, that'll be great.
Okay, so we're on the break screen. You are still audible. Feel free to chat with chat. Otherwise, mute your mic before you get up to pee or whatever.
A quick question before you run. What sources are we looking at backgrounds for?
At backgrounds, I'm going to allow, I think, any from the core set that I put up. So that core set would be the blah, 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 blah. Where did I put it?
You know, the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So that's Player's Handbook, Tome of Foes, Xanathar's Guide, Voller's Guide, Tasha's Cauldron, Fizzband's Treasury of Dragons, and Morden Kanan Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. There we go. So not things like Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide and stuff like that.
For backgrounds, that means we only have Player's Handbook, doesn't it?
Are there not extra
Pretty
backgrounds in Xanathar's?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Yep. Okay. That's a shorter list, which makes things easier, I guess.
Oh yeah, almost all the others are from like adventures or setting books, aren't they? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Now let's go walk.
I don't know why I just replied on chat there, Endrak. I could have just said that out loud. Endrak says, wonder if any of my cursed items will be in this game. Endrak's helped me a lot during the D&D planning streams, making a lot of cursed items, and there are some pretty good ones. I'm tempted to scatter a few of those around occasionally. How's everyone in the chat doing this evening? I'll stick around for a few minutes and then I'll go to the toilet. We're getting there on character creation. I think we're, we've got the critical bits already. For most people.
I think a small wrench has been thrown in my initial plan of like, oh, I'll do a warlock who's a fiend warlock.
Oh no.
Well, that's something that I'm going to get you lot to think about, actually, is I want every character to be linked to at least two other characters in some way. Like some relation. Either family, friendship, marriage, whatever works. I want you lot to come up with links to other characters, you know? I know, for example, there's going to be two turtles here. They could be related. Or perhaps you two went to the same, like, fiend finishing school. Who knows? But some bond.
Fiendishing school.
Andy, the day I met you was the happiest day of my life.
You could be married if you want. I mean, obviously,
it was Tuesday.
I mean, obviously, for cases like marriage and all that, I want, obviously, both players to be 100% on board with it. But friends is often a very good link, to be honest. And having those links makes for great roleplay moments. And if you're linked to enough people, then it means that no matter what group you're in, you've got some like roleplay bits to play on. Nick, this party's going to be a polycule or else.
I think it could be possible that the fiend that my character would get their stuff from, like, is a different fiend. And yeah, it seems like things were pretty, like, oh, this is a nice gift for Andy's character, whereas for mine it probably wouldn't be.
Yeah, it would be very distinct, because like mine's almost like oh, surprise, you're magic now. Whereas maybe yours could be more of a, like, you had to, like, do something to get yours.
Coda makes a nice point. Maybe your characters are divorced. That's even better. Just slight snide bickering throughout the entire dungeon.
Or it's just like a different
power broken up. I just got it back, so I'm
gotta be honest, you are tempting me for, like, coming up with all of this sassy divorce dialogue to fill in some dungeon time. But no, I think it could be, like, a difference of perspective. Like, because your character would view those powers as, probably very beneficial, whereas the character I'm making would be like, this is kind of like a burden.
Yeah, I mean, I initially had the idea that my character didn't necessarily know the powers were from the kid. So it's just like, oh, when they grew up enough to be able to give powers to people, it just happened.
Your characters thought that was puberty.
Old turtle puberty.
That is the first line I hear when I get back. What the hell?
The second puberty, where you just start spraying flames from your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, as a trans woman, I can actually confirm.
Can confirm second puberty is pretty fucking wild.
Oh, I think Ben's posted their choices. Protection Fighter Mountain Dwarf. I love it. Ben, I need to tell you at some point about dwarfs in Aetos, and that might change your mind. Dwarves...
There's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about with the dwarves. They're all Italian.
Also, Tabaxi, all Texan.
Oh yeah, if you want to play Tabaxi, they are all Texan. But dwarves are Italian, so the ones in the mountains are actually the hill and mountain dwarves are like the old country Italian, actually in Italy Italian. Whereas the ones in the cities and towns tend to be like Italian American. Hey, I'm walking here, that sort of thing, So just take that on board. I won't expect anyone to put accents on, all right? I don't expect that.
Will there be a bonus if we do?
Yes. I mean, they're absolutely, like, I've definitely written a dwarven character who hailed from the spaghetti. He was the master spaghetti forger of his mountain home, Giuseppe il Bastardo, and yeah, just really lean into it. It's great. Honestly, once you've played an Italian dwarf, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. It happened by accident in my first D&D game. I was trying to put on a Scottish accent, and it went very badly wrong.
This explains a lot.
Yeah. Make a race of Piantas. What would be the closest to a race of Piantas? The GIF? Maybe the GIF. Not the GIF with a TH, but the GIF with two Fs. Who are hippo men. British hippo men.
D&D's a bit confusing.
Yes.
Almost 50 years.
Isn't it GIF?
It's 50% of them do think it is GIF. Yeah, they argue about it.
That's good. I'm glad.
That's officially I'm not making that up. That's in the law.
Oh. What does their creator say?
They don't. But no, if you look it up, the race from the Unearthed Arcana Travelers of the Multiverse, if you look up the info, The GIF are split into two camps concerning how their name is pronounced. Half of them say it with a hard G, half with a soft G. Disagreements over the correct pronunciation often blossom into hard feelings, loud arguments, and headbutting contests, but rarely escalate beyond that.
Nick, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea, like, anything about a Warhammer anything, but that sounds very much like those Warhammer people who, like, change reality just by thinking things, like they paint flames on the stripes of their spaceships and they actually go faster.
Oh, the orcs. Yeah, the orcs. Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it?
Fun guy.
If you look up an image of the GIF GIFF, you'll see why I love them, because it's my residual self-image.
They're incredibly British.
They're so British.
If a GIF comes into town, hide anything that they might put in a museum.
Wait, are you saying the Empire was all GIF?
They could have been. They genuinely could have been. I'll put an image in the...
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, like any good Brits, they are also very critical because, you know, they're hypocrites.
No, that's just when they roll 20s.
Oh, once.
Double, goddammit.
I've got 2 minutes to pee, so I'll be right back, but you'll all still be unmuted for talking to the chat.
2 minutes of peas?
Just 2 minutes.
I also thought my concept was cheese.
Just 2 minutes of peeing.
Are you taking your microphone
say
with you?
anything?
2 minutes of peeing. My favourite The World Ends With You track.
I mean, in fairness, a ping of 20 minutes, well, 2 minutes would be terrible. Oh, ping, not ping.
I need to come up with an actual sort of goal for my character. Did she start living in the forest and learn to turn into a squirrel? I mean, life goals, but there has to be a reason for it.
The potential druids' interactions are going to be funny. As I am leaning towards druid.
I've actually got sort of an idea that she has the noble background. And she, like, just literally got fed up with her family and decides to move into the woods.
That's a good one, in fairness.
But then she probably got taught how to do druid stuff by someone, so there must be other druids that she sort of moved in with, so...
Yeah, well, it is pretty secluded, so, you know, there may be druids.
Like... Oh, yeah. I mean, like, is there like a druid school somewhere, or... Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Forgot after enjoying playing Artificer Armor that warlocks just die if you sneeze on them.
They sure do. Monks as well.
I mean, I've got good con, I've got good armor. I could tank. I could be the tank club.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
for the first 2 levels, and then people with armor will beat me.
In fairness, if I decided to... Go ahead.
Just be a druid. You can become a tank whenever you want.
It's true.
But a tank is technically not an animal.
No, I mean, have you seen the hit points on a bear?
That's an idea for a homebrew class.
Yeah.
This is
A
actually
vehicle
why.
shapeshifter.
Well, shaped into a neck.
Druid as like a direwolf early levels is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true. If you go Circle of the Moon, you get even more options as well.
Yeah, I was actually sort of torn between different subclasses, but I was actually thinking Circle of the Moon, because if I just dip 2 or 3 levels, then I still get a pretty decent. I can still have access to CR1 creatures.
Yeah, Moon is great fun. I think Wildfire is exceptional as well. And I think Iris really enjoyed. What is it? Swarms. Swarmkeeper.
Oh yeah. Swarms is pretty neat. Yeah, because with my with my Druid, my sort of idea is basically that she just mostly uses the smaller animals just to sneak around, because of obviously the whole Druid rogue concept.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I might not actually need the higher CR creatures. But on the other hand, it would be very funny to turn into a giant spider and sneak attack with webs.
Yeah, I can't believe raw that would work. We're back, by the way. Not that any of you are on camera anyway, so you don't have to worry. Right, so in the interim, Ben's hit us up with a class and a race, and I'm going to need, Ben, I'm going to need you to paste in the chat what your ability scores are as well. But I'll read out the class and the race. So Ben is going for Mountain Dwarf. And as I was saying earlier, Mountain Dwarves are Italian, so I look forward to this. And they are going for the class of Fighter, which is honestly a fantastic class. Like, Fighter sounds really like bare bones and basic, but when you look at the subclasses, it is one of the best classes in the whole game. Like, for customization options, it's superb. You can do so many different things. You can be a barbarian by being a champion. You could be a samurai by being a samurai. Or you could be a Jedi. Just literally a Jedi.
Or you can do... What was that film where people curved bullets?
Oh,
yeah.
Equilibrium.
No.
You can do that with Arcane.
No, Wanted.
No, Wanted.
Wanted, yeah.
Yeah.
Equilibrium was
Oh
the
yeah,
one with the gun,
Equilibrium's gun caster, yeah.
Yeah, fighters are better archers than rangers. They are incredible.
He's the best archers.
Well, Rogue Scout is a pretty good archer, actually. That's a good point. So, Ben, if you are still there, let me know your stats. If not, we will go to Enfys, if you've got a race or class ready. I've just realised I didn't ask if you actually had one ready. Oh, excellent! That's good. Yeah, we'll go with you, because I'll wait on Ben to update in the chat.
Alrighty.
It's in westmarches.
Oh, it's in westmarches. I was reading the wrong chat. I'm in the wrong chat again. I'll go with Ben first then, because I've half started it. So ability scores. So strength is going to be 13 plus 1. Interesting. Dex. Here we go. Dex is 16. I was going to say. Interesting low strength for a fighter, but Dex makes up for it. Con is 14. So that's going to be plus 2. Into 7. Which means there are some birds smarter than Ben's character. And so that's a minus... Is that minus 2? Is it minus 3? Hang on. Minus 2, isn't it? And Wiz of 10, so plus 0. And Charisma of 11, so plus 0 as well. Nice. So, yes, you've said Protection Fighter. That's a subclass. You're not at level 3 yet. And you've got Mountain Dwarf. Are you going with the lineage system, or are you going to go with the standard Mountain Dwarf stats, which are... Let me just grab them. Strength plus 2, Constitution plus 2. Fighters choose a fighting style at level 1. Oh, well, yeah, but that's not your subclass. Standard will do. Okay, so you're going to add +2 to strength, +2 to con. I'm assuming you haven't put that on here already, because otherwise... Jesus, how low were your rolls? No, you haven't. So that's 15. So a nice +2 on there, and con becomes a 16 for a +3. That's a good set of stats. Yeah, very nice. So you've gone for the protection fighting style, and we'll see what subclass you go for. Yeah, that's a good character. And as I was saying earlier, everyone start thinking about backgrounds. You pretty much only limited the player handbook ones.
Nick, just to confirm, do dwarves get +4 total?
It was... Yeah, they do. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
They have a smaller movement speed. They have a movement speed of 25 feet, which doesn't sound like much of a difference, but trust me, when you're in the game, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they get a little bit more.
Actually, it's only mountain dwarves that get 4 total.
Oh, okay. Well, mountain dwarf is the one Ben's gone for. Right, Emphis, over to you.
Well then, surprising nobody that knows me, Tiefling, Warlock.
Tiefling and class Warlock. Okay, very nice. Very nice. So that's 2 Tieflings we're going to have as well. Oh, what's Tiefling subrace are you going for? Are you going for the blank Tiefling or?
I was just going to go with the blank Tiefling, yeah.
That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
That's the standard. Takes me thaumaturgy.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah, ability scores. Let's start with strength.
Okay, this is where it gets a little bit wild. I haven't done the vital stuff yet.
Okay, that's fine. We can put those in and sort that out in a sec. Yeah.
Yeah. So strength 9.
9. Okay, so a -1.
Yep. Then 18.
18 dex. That's that's good. Okay, +4.
17 con.
17 con. That's that's good as well. +3.
14 int.
14 int. +2. Wiz.
10 wisdom.
10 +0. Okay, and then
now I've only got 1 number left for charisma, and it's that really low one. It's a 4.
Wait. If you're playing a warlock with a 4 in charisma, you will not be able to do anything.
I have a plan.
I'm
You're gonna have to trust me.
I trust you, Emphis. So that's a -6? Or is it, no, -5? No, -4?
-3.
-3.
4 is -3.
-3, got you. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you've got a plan, and I like the sound of that. So what are you thinking for your patron?
Hexblade.
Hexblade, okay. That makes sense.
So you
now.
then want to attack with charisma?
Andros said things and I didn't hear any of them.
Oh, I said that, so you plan to use your charisma modifier for weapon attacks as well?
No.
Yeah, totally, all the way.
Okay, very nice.
I'm certainly not casting Eldritch Blast, I can tell you that much.
So we'll have to have a think about what blade you are sort of you've sort of pledged yourself to. But I love a hexblade. Andros' character in the Guild of Icons is a hexblade, so there's good company there for them. Excellent. So let's sort out your final ability scores then. Are you using the lineage system, or are you going to use what Tieflings just get base? I think Tieflings base get charisma +2 and int +1.
See, this is where I'm a little bit torn.
Okay.
If I take the base, the base Tiefling goodness, then I'm lessening. Should we ever come across a charisma save, I don't necessarily take -3 off my proficiency for that.
Immediately banished.
But also, I could just have 20 dex.
There is that. That is tempting.
And I think I'll just take that.
Yeah, 20 dex.
Take the lineage, man.
Okay, so that's your +2, and your +1. Where are you going to put that one?
Ooh.
I recommend Constitution. looking at that number.
Yeah,
It is an odd number. That's
I was thinking the same thing. Just that little bit extra health because I'm gonna be fighting things from the looks of it.
You're gonna be up close and personal with that. So that's great. Yeah.
Not my long-term plan, but for now, it is what I'm stuck with.
Okay, very nice. So that's Ben, Emphis, and Aeon. So we have left over. We have Nolus, Goggles, and Talia and Pixel. Talia did mention
20 decks of many things.
Sorry, what was that?
Can I get 20 decks of many things?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. You have to play every single card. Every card.
From every deck.
Yeah, Talia, you said you have a race and a background, but not a class. Well, let's sort out race and your ability scores, and think about your background, and then you can sort out your class later. That's not critical to know now because it doesn't affect any of your stats or anything. So let's do that. Yeah.
What background would you say a chef has?
It's guild artisan with cook's utensils as your tools because I've picked the same thing.
Oh yeah, you two are really going to be good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Talia, let me know. Oh, you were going to do the scores when you had a class and knew what would fit good. Okay, fair enough. We'll have a bit more of a think on it, and we'll come back to you on that. But we know your race is going to be Turtle, right? Unless you've changed that. So I'll put that in, at least.
And you can put in the background as well, I guess.
That's true. May as well. What was background? Fisher. Is there a Fisher in the...
I think Fisher's in Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Fisher is in Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
It'd probably still be okay. I'd imagine there's not anything.
I don't remember
specific.
anything particularly strange in Ghosts.
I'm just having a look at it to see if there's any problems with it. I don't think that's a problem looking at it. Harvest the Water is not that powerful. You know, ability checks made using fishing tackle. Like, how often is that coming up? So, yeah,
Talia will try and make it.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine, and it fits with the sort of style I was going with of Humble Beginnings. A fisher makes sense in the area, so I think I'm happy to allow that. If anyone else sees a background that they want particularly that fits in the sort of area, do let me know, because I'm a bit more flexible on that. I thought there were more available in the sources I picked out, I'm not gonna lie. So that's just me making a mistake. So if you do find one that better fits, just let me know. I'll take a look and we'll decide one by one. Okay, but yeah, have a think about what you want to be, and just let me know when you got a class and some ability scores, and we'll put those in as well. Right, who else has one ready? If anyone has one ready, I think that's it. I think that's everyone. Well, of the people that we
bits, but not all of it.
No, that's fine. You don't have to have it now. That's no problem. We can sort all of these out. So the next bit is going to be backgrounds, which I'll do for the people who have some, who've got one sorted right now. So for the people we've already done. So that's Andres Bree, Andy, Ben, Emphis, and Aeon. If you have a background, let me know, and we'll put those in as well.
Yeah, so I'm going Guild Artisan.
Guild Artisan. Okay, nice. And that's because you're obviously going for the au pair sort of.
Yeah, like after leaving the spooky house, went sort of into cooking. Did that for a while. But I don't. It seems like it's quite like the Guild Artisan background doesn't seem like it's very small, like small beginnings, unless you pick like one of the really.
It seems like it's very involved. Like there's a whole system of like guilds and merchants wherever you are.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we like tone it down a little and just say like.
I mean, you could just remove like the letter from the guild that it gives you when you start up.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be a difficulty in westmarches because there's not going to be, pardon me, there's not going to be that many cities that you'll be ending up in, and that sort of is sort of aimed towards city play, isn't it?
I mean, could it be that me and Pixel are starting the Chef's Guild in the town?
You could do that if you want. If anyone wants to start a business, they're more than welcome to.
Because then we still get the sort of guild stuff, even though we're not like big city folk.
Yeah, I think I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Just open up in a place called the Fiend's Fry Up.
Hellfire steamed
I like that.
burgers.
Okay, that's nice.
Lively, devilish, Seymour.
Anyone else got a background they thought of?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think basically my character's sort of backstory is that she was from a noble family, but decided maybe ran away, maybe just decided to leave. But I'm not actually going with noble. I'm actually going to go with criminal, specifically smuggler.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say basically she sort of obviously she's did her druid circle stuff, but she has also sort of been helping move maybe some questionable items through the forest. Perhaps, I don't know.
Okay, I can see that working. I can see that working in the area. Obviously, you've got nearby.
Taxis or...
Yeah, and there is a river nearby as well. So the fact that you get a tool proficiency of water vehicles would also make sense in this case.
Nick, just to check, are you looking at the smuggler background or the criminal background?
Oh, I was looking at the smuggler background. Sorry, hang on.
Nope.
Oh, I see. It's also option as a special. Sorry, I was looking at smuggler, the Ghost of Saltmarsh one. Okay,
right.
So background criminal. That makes sense. Okay, anyone else?
I was also thinking of being a criminal.
You criminals, honestly.
There's a trend here.
Not in the campaign, I'm just sharing some things about myself.
Yeah.
Honestly, I said no
They
fantasy
haven't found the bodies,
racism
it's
and
fine.
all of the tieflings are criminals. Come on, you need to do better than this. Where are the lawful tieflings? Okay.
At least
I think you'll find the real criminals are the ones who raised the land and took all our stuff.
Now
Yep.
that's the way you should be thinking. I love it. Yes, exactly. You are here to be stealing back things. Yeah, that's great. I like that. That's actually, so what I was saying earlier is I want obviously everyone to have links with each other. Having a shared background is great as well. That could be a good link. Maybe, for example, you actually have worked with Bree's character. Maybe not regularly, but maybe you two are criminal contacts of each other, or maybe you do regularly work together. It's up to you, but that could be a good link.
I was thinking of something along the lines of like burglar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
I like that.
I need a fence or somebody to move things for me.
That could work. I mean, obviously, this is something you lot are going to have to talk about a lot to work out your...
Obviously, this is a small town. I don't know how much burgling you'll get done.
Well, I'd have to travel.
Hobbiton's a small town, and they still had a very famous burglar, to be fair.
True enough.
Bilbo Baggins.
Indeed.
Brave Bilbo Baggins.
But yeah, just talk about these things, and we can sort of mold the backstory to fit the area once we've sorted that. But I think that could work. You know, there are going to be still occasional visitors, and you'll be able to steal from them, or you can steal from the people living there, or you can go out and, you know, highway robbery people.
Yep, man.
That sort of thing. There's plenty of options. So whatever sort of fits best. I'm sure we can work something out there.
Yes.
I like that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm going to be going Sage.
Sage,
I guess.
of course, that makes sense. Okay. Background, Sage. Sage give you again. That gives you... Oh, research will be extremely helpful for you, because one of the major downtime activities that will be involved in Westmarches is research. Because that'll help you unlock a lot of new information, including like new quest hooks, where items are, and that sort of thing. So that'll give you a boost to that. I mean, I don't think there's a specifically like hard-coded boost to the research downtime activity, but I'll work one in because I think that just makes sense if you're a researcher. Actually, I think there is one. If you've got access to a library, or if you've got access to a place of research or a sage, you do get a bonus to research. I think it costs less or something. So yeah, that's good. I
suspect I wouldn't have that to begin with. But
my character, I actually do want my character to be the local librarians. Struggling, of course, considering how many books I have available.
Yeah, specifically in this case, the difference between librarian as in I have some books and librarian as in I live in the library. But yes. So yeah, there could be a link there as well, actually, the sage and the librarian, but we'll think about that as well. Andres, does that mean you have a background?
I am considering, if you'll allow investigator, I will take investigator. But if you don't, then I'm also going sage.
Investigator, what do you get? Official inquiry. I don't know if that benefit will help you much here. I don't think there's going to be that. There aren't really any higher powers, like administrative higher powers that you can go to.
Yes, but local law enforcement still has firm opinions on me. Mostly, I'd imagine I would have just helped, like, look for missing people and stuff like that.
Okay, so you could be like a private eye sort of investigator. Yeah. That's fine. I was just thinking the feature official inquiry sort of gives you this seal to say I'm an inquisitor from so-and-so, let me through. But that won't work there, because they're like, well, we don't care. But the sort of idea of a private eye, I like, and that could work quite well, because people will be going missing all the time. Like, mostly it's monsters, but sometimes it's not. So that could really work nicely. So you said you were thinking about it, but I'll put it down for now, and we can change that if you change your mind.
It was on whether or not you've proven it, because it's not in the listed sources.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to open up the backgrounds, and we'll just have to talk about each individual background, because the player handbooks ones are just too restricted. I thought for some reason they were a load in Vola's Guide to Monsters. I don't know why, and Xanathar's, but they just aren't. So yeah, that's good. That works. Anyone else? I think we're good then for backgrounds. So that's pretty good. So the last bit then is I want everyone to start thinking about these bonds. I've said several times. Just have a look at the characters as they, as everyone else starts finishing theirs off, because there's a couple still need to think about it, and that's fine. We've got plenty of time before the first session. But have a think about that. Start chatting. I'd like there to be sort of a network so that everyone's got 2 links with someone else. So you may end up with more than 2 links, and that's fine. But I'd like there to be a sort of nice mesh of it so that, there's not one person who's stuck out off to the side. So try and work it out so that you've got at least 2 bonds with other people. But no upper limit. If you want to bond with everyone, and everyone's okay with it, that's fine by me. I'm perfectly happy with that. If you want to find an individual
want to marry everyone.
Well, that's fine. Go for it. Marry them all. Find a paladin with ceremony. A home rule version of ceremony. Marry them, yeah. But just think about it, because there's so many different options. They don't have to be positive bonds. I don't want any player versus player in this. I want people to be collaborating and cooperative, but you can have a negative bond that still works. As one of the example was a divorced couple who occasionally maybe are bickering at each other in the dungeon. That's fine. They're not actively working against each other. They're just going, oh, I would have done that better, or something like that. It's just a little laugh and that sort of thing. But again, obviously, make sure everyone's okay with that before you get started. But I think that's everything I wanted to cover in session 0. I think we're good. Yeah. I'm just going through the list in my head.
Are we still doing the town making game.
So yeah, that was the next bit. Is we can do now. This is a point where people can disappear if they want to, because this is session 0 done. But what I have is a copy of Ex Novo, which is a town building game with which we may design the town itself, Airedale, that you live in, and sort of come up with a basic history of it. It's a collaborative game, but yeah, people who want to disappear now, you absolutely can if you're not interested in this. But anyone who does will use a virtual drawing place, which I've already got ready, which I will paste in the chat, and you can join me on there.
As I have a little bit of an early start tomorrow, I'm going to be bouncing. But
yeah, no problem at all.
This was good. I'm excited.
I'm excited
looking
too.
Forward to seeing how the town grows.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nice. I mean, we'll see how many people end up left behind. If it's just 1 or 2 of us, I might do this as a separate stream. Just because sometimes this can take a while if there's only a couple of you, but it depends. Oh, actually, I'm looking at the time. It's 10 o'clock. Jesus, I thought it was 9. Maybe we'll do this as a separate stream. What I might do is I might do this on one of the Thursdays. Maybe get a couple of people who fancy doing it in chat with me, and yeah, we'll do it collaboratively then. Because I think otherwise I'm probably going to overheat and die, and you need your head in a certain place. Can you tell I've been talking almost consistently for the last 3 hours as well? Like, my voice is going.
Google has more information to offer.
Oh, where was that?
In Westmarches.
Oh, excellent. Sorry, let me put that in. Oh, lovely. Okay.
Keep him talking. Wear him out. We want to be able to make as little attacks as possible next Friday.
Okay, so Goggles is going for Dragonborn. Wonderful. We haven't had a Dragonborn player yet. I'm very excited. Which also means
Dragonborn character once for one session. I want to play another.
Nice. Yes. So strength 16. That's good. Dex is 15. So that's +2, right? And then Con is 15. So that's also +2. Int is 13, so that's +1. Wiz 16 for +3. Charisma 10 for +0. That's nice. And you're going for Druid. Very good. Yeah. Oh, 2 Druids. Excellent. Druid buddies, maybe. Potentially. I mean, you don't have to be. And a background of possibly Hermit, which would be quite fun. Because,
Yeah, I have an inclination for, they just kind of wandered off into the woods for a bit, tried to learn, as much medical stuff with plants rather than, doing it practically by getting someone to teach them. They decided to go out and do it themselves.
Okay, I like that.
They're somehow alive.
I like that.
If you have to have a link with at least 2 people, can you really be a hermit?
Why did you say hermit like Kermit? Hermit frog.
Can I play a hermit
frog?
You could play a bullywug called Kermit. No, don't do that, please.
Just play Swedish Chef instead.
Well, yeah, you can have. I think you can have 2 links with people with hermits. Like, hermits have still got to buy stuff, right? So, and hermits have got to chase people off their lawns and out of their caves,
off my land,
or wherever they are.
Yeah, I think the wording in hermit does basically say they're secluded, but not necessarily completely secluded.
The wording also says you're secluded for a formative time in your life. So you could have been a hermit once. You don't have to stay being a hermit.
That's true.
It depends. Yeah. Do we do delivery in this world?
It does say either in a sheltered community, such as a monastery, or entirely alone. So it could just be like a group of... You could have just been with a group of weirdos.
Yeah. That was one last thing. So I mentioned I want you all to have bonds. I also want you to all put down a god. not least because there is a mechanical benefit to doing so for anyone who's read my article on downtime bonuses. So, yeah, put down a god, because you probably all your characters would likely believe in one. Maybe not the highest int warlock, but almost all of you would probably in where you're growing up believe in one of the gods or another for protection, and it will benefit.
We should also make it clear that when you believe in a god, that means like you believe in all the gods, like they're all tangibly real.
Yeah, like it's possible to meet them all, but this is the one you trust. Like this is the one that if you're in a bind, you would pray to. Like if it came to nothing else, that's the one you'd pick, basically. And maybe you're more devout. Maybe you do some rituals and something like that. But bare minimum, that's the one that your last thoughts would go to if you were trying to beg for your life from a supernatural entity.
I had some ideas regarding that I should have a conversation with you about, actually.
Yeah, that sounds good. There are, less atheist, but there are anti-theist characters. I just don't want too many of them in this one because you'll be at a mechanical disadvantage. But yeah, I mean, Leggy's character, Ruzad the Blasting, is anti-theist and is personally out to kill all of them. But
yeah, I was going to say, speaking of which, you probably want to pick a god before we get to them all.
I mean, the gods
just get those bonuses
have
now.
so many eyes between them.
Yeah, Leggy's character blinded a god, which is pretty impressive. Had to die to do it, but yeah, pretty impressive. So yeah, you might meet him. But yeah, I think we'll stop there then. Continue, thinking about your characters.
I technically can already put out that my character would go for Preteritus, considering, as I mentioned, that I also am intending on trying to build a library in town.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Yeah, I like that. And I'll let you know the initial quest hooks. I'll give you a list of them. I'll probably just have 3 for you, and then you'll get more as you go on parties, and we'll start the process where you lot pick which one you want to do, form a group of you and let me know. And we'll also sort out equipment and all that nonsense. But we'll do that off stream. That's easy. Equipment's easy. Just follow the rules. I think we'll go with probably adventurer kits for most people, unless you've got a particular reason that you want something else. But yeah, I'm pretty easy on that, to be honest. But yeah, so I'll stop there, and we'll say goodnight to everyone. You can all say goodnight now if you want, but I'll be muting you in about 4 seconds. 3, 2,
Good night, everyone.
1. That was lovely, wasn't it? Alrighty. Yeah, let's stop the music and go to the old bye-bye screen. This, by the way, hasn't been updated yet. I need to update this as well. This is still the standard Guild of Icons background. Sorry. It will be done. It will be done soon. Oh, we've just had in Talia's picked a class. It's Ranger. That's great. That's good. I love Ranger. Great class. A lot of people hate Ranger. I love it. See you soon. Have a good evening. The ducking is still way too much on this. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, I might not be streaming next week. I don't know yet, and I'll update you all. But thank you all for being here. This has been great, and see you all very soon.